Hello, warriors. Welcome to the next Depression Warriors video. Do you ever wonder why some people seem to have everything work out so well? Everything just goes their way and life seems so easy for them? Or why that 1% is at the top while the rest of us are struggling just to get our basic needs met? People like Donald Trump and Elon Musk and even those multi-millionaire YouTubers out there teaching us their methods. I don't know about you, but I often wonder why. Why is it life like this for some people and not for others? Yeah, they're awesome, amazing businessmen, and they know what they're doing and they're extremely intelligent. But there is something more going on here, something that you too can tap into and use to change your life. The law of attraction. Stick around because in this video, I'm going to tell you about one of the most important things you need to know about working the law of attraction when you're just starting out, especially for those of us with depression. But first, let's talk about what the law of attraction is. Hi, I'm Sarahdawn, and I'm making videos for those with depression live their fullest and most authentic lives. So the law of attraction is a universal law that states like attracts like. And what that means is that you are attracting the kind of energy that you are putting out into the universe. So when your energy is high and you're vibing well, that means more things that are going to make you feel good and raise your vibrations even higher are going to be attracted to you and into your life. When you are focused on accomplishing your goals and getting what you want, your determination is tapping in to the law of attraction and bringing into your life what it is you need to accomplish that goal, making it easier for you. The law of attraction is like having your very own genie in a bottle. It's kind of like magic. At least that's kind of what it feels like when you're first starting out. But you don't have to hunt down or stumble across this bottle in some museum or in a remote desert somewhere in some part of the world. And you don't have to worry about what the genie is going to be like that comes out of this bottle. And best of all, you're not limited to only 3 wishes. But like the genies and many of the stories we know, getting your wishes fulfilled can be tricky when using the law of attraction. When it comes to both a genie in a bottle and the law of attraction, it is very important to be careful what you wish for. And here's why. Because you are attracting what you are focused on, feeling, or thinking about, that means when you are in a state of depression or have low vibes or in general you're just not feeling very optimistic, that means you are attracting things that make you feel less than ideal. Genies are tricksters. What you think you have wished for, you may not actually get. So say I wish I had $1 million and I end up with a locked box that's full of $1 million, but it's this impenetrable box that has no key and no way of getting into it, right? I got my wish, but that is not what I wanted at all. That money does me absolutely no good. That's what genies are known for doing, is giving you what you wish for, but not in the way that you intended it to be. And rarely do we actually get something good from what we wish for when it comes to genies in the movies and stuff, right? And the law of attraction, it sort of works in the same way, but it's not being cruel like we can argue the genies are. It's just being very literal. It's really just sending you the kind of energy that you are putting out. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care what you've done. It doesn't care what you will do. this energy is just attracted to other energy, like gravity. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, what you want, or what you actually mean. When you said you wanted to step out of your house and walk down the sidewalk, it doesn't care what you meant by that. The law just does what it's meant to do, and gravity is meant to pull you down. It's a force that pulls you down into the earth and helps keep us grounded. The law of attraction is the same thing. It doesn't matter what you want or what you meant or any of that stuff. It just does what it does, and that is to attract like energy to other like energy. So the law of attraction is really just simply sending out the kind of energy that you are putting out. It's not being cruel, it's just doing its job. And unfortunately, wishes and wants and even desires are an energy of lack. So what you're putting out there isn't the energy of what you want or what you're wishing for. What you're putting out there is the energy of not having what you want, the energy of needing to wish because you don't have that. So though you may wish to have an easier life, or to stop being depressed, or learn how to be optimistic, when you think about and wish and want and desire those things, what the universe is picking up on is that you don't have those things. It's a snowball effect. That wish just keeps rolling down the hill, collecting more and more snow, getting bigger and bigger as you wish even harder and harder and harder. But because you continue to put more and more of that energy of that wish out, you're just attracting the same stuff, and that just makes you wish even more for something different. So you get it. It just keeps adding on and adding on to itself when you think you're doing the right thing. But this energy that you're putting out is actually the exact opposite of what you're intending to put out there. So when your expectations, beliefs, and feelings are that people are going to treat you badly, or that life is going to be difficult, or that it's going to be a struggle to accomplish anything or get what you need, that's what you're attracting into your life. You're attracting people that are going to treat you in general poorly, or treat you the way that you expect. You're attracting situations into your life that are unfair and don't work out. And overall, you're attracting situations and circumstances that just support whatever your thoughts, feelings, and expectations are. And things that support what you believe about yourself, or at least what you're actively focusing on about what you believe about yourself. So now, let's talk about reality and how it's constructed. When most people say reality, we think of what exists in the physical world, right? What we can see, what we can hear and touch and smell and taste, what is tangible and what can be manipulated and repeated. Reality is what is real, right? But did you know that everything you see, hear, and experience is all being filtered through your brain? And did you know that your brain is very susceptible to getting things wrong? Your brain doesn't care what we think about reality. Your brain only really cares about keeping you alive and helping you to learn and grow and thrive in life so that you can pass on everything you know to the next generation and basically ensure the survival of the species. Your physical brain is just that. It's physical. It's part of your physical body. And for the most part, as we live in this physical life, it's what's in charge. The way your brain comes to create filters is very much influenced by your past, by both explicit and implicit memories, meaning memories that you both actively do remember and those that you don't actively remember. And past conditioning, your attachment style, that is determined by how securely attached you were to the adults in your life when you were growing up. And also that digital tape recorder that we have. The recorder we carry around up in our minds that records things that we hear and what people say and what we say to ourselves. And it keeps only what supports and what we believe about ourselves and replays over and over again. All of this contributes to creating the filters that you view the world, yourself, and others and life through. You see the world basically through depression colored glasses. But you have the power to change all of this. You can change those glasses, those depression colored glasses, and try wearing those rose colored glasses that we hear so much about, that makes everything look good and pretty and better than it actually is. We can try wearing those. Imagine what you might attract into your life if you saw everything in a positive life and you only had good expectations of what might come into your life. Thoughts are energy, and they are one of the easiest ways to begin changing the flow of energy into your life. Because once you recognize that you're having a negative thought, you can stop that thought and you can change it and think about something else. You can intentionally put a different thought into your head. And it's pretty awesome because you don't have to believe the thought at first. You don't have to believe it. You just got to make yourself think it. And you will be beginning to shift the energy because that thought, whether you believe it or not, is energy that you're putting out into the universe. And feelings are even more powerful. Once you change the thought, just imagine what it would be like if that thought were true. What if it were real? Like a kid playing pretend. Sure, that kid knows the game isn't real. There's no tea in that teacup. But damned if that kid isn't acting like what they're doing is actually there and it is real. You remember those days, the days of play and imagination. Remember how powerful it was? You tap into that side of yourself and let yourself imagine and dream and get carried away in the visualization of what it would be like if that thought was true. And then focus on that feeling you would have if it was true. That is a very powerful way to begin putting out a different kind of energy into the universe. And then you'll begin attracting more things that make you feel that positive way. Because that feeling, even if it only lasts a minute or a couple of seconds, it changes the energy that you're putting out. And all of these exercises that we're talking about are similar to what a therapist might tell you to do when you have depression. They suggest, like in cognitive behavioral therapy with thought stopping and replacement, like imagine your thoughts are a train that's coming through, and it would come in and come into your brain, but instead you flip the switch and switch the track. So instead of it turning into your brain, you just keep watching it go by. That's thought stopping. Just let the thoughts keep going. And thought replacement is, of course, replacing the thoughts that you've stopped with a thought that's more positive. That's basic cognitive behavioral therapy. And there's a reason why those techniques work. They've been shown to be really effective for those with depression, at least short term, about as effective as medication. And there's a reason for that. It is because it changes your brain. It creates new experiences and gives you the opportunity to know what it feels like to have good things and have good thoughts. Even if you don't believe them, if you just make yourself have a more positive thought, you start to know what it's like to have positive thoughts and how that's different and how it might affect you and not hurt you and not cause any harm to you or anybody else. You start to learn that it's okay. But what is even better here is that you're raising your vibrations. And if you can keep that up, you will start attracting good things rather than only the bad that keep you in a negative state of depression. You will start attracting good things that are just going to make you feel better, and life is going to flow and feel easier. And the more that happens, like the snowball effect we talked before, only working the other way, it builds up on itself, it raises your vibes, and then it's easier to attract more and more good things that continue to raise your vibes. And finally, intention. Intention is crazy powerful. If thoughts are powerful, feelings are even more powerful. They're one of the most powerful ways to send that energy out and communicate it with the universe. But intention is even more powerful. If you can back up your thought and that feeling you had when you imagined your thought was real and true, and you back it up with intention, even if you don't believe it's possible, even if you don't really believe, but you just tell yourself that I intend to make it happen anyway. This is what I want. And even if it's not possible, my intention is to make it happen anyway. Tell yourself that you deserve it and that you can make it happen. Once again, you don't have to believe it. Just tell yourself that. Tell yourself over and over again. Changes will begin to happen with the repetition. You are really getting into the law of attraction mastery when you do this. And you are really going to start experiencing changes in your vibrations and what you're attracting into your life. So what all of this means is that you are a very powerful co-creator of not just your reality, but of the reality around you. You can make things happen just by putting out the right kind of energy. Sure, you may feel powerless, but you are anything but. You are a master magician, a powerful creator, an influencer of the energy and the world around you. And you have the power to shift the energy around you and the energy that comes to you. You have the power to do this through your thoughts, through your feelings, through your intentions. Don't believe you have that kind of power? I get it. It sounds crazy at first. I know it does. But I've seen this work many times. I've experienced it work many times. Some a lot easier than others, but I've seen it work and I have experienced it firsthand myself. It does feel a little crazy at first. So think about the genies again, like Aladdin and those other stories where the person doesn't believe in magic and the genie has to prove themselves, So you just rubbed the lamp and the genie just popped out of it. This crazy magical being just floated up out of this lamp. And it says, "Your wish is my command." And despite what is right in front of you, what you just witnessed with your own eyes, you don't believe it. You don't believe in magic, and this thing cannot possibly make any of your wishes come true. You just don't buy it. The trouble is in this situation with this magical genie is that if you don't believe, how are you going to make the wish? Like in the movies, the genie always proves themselves by doing something that shows the disbeliever that magic is real. So when you see it and experience it, it becomes possible and it becomes part of your new reality. And so you make the wishes only, to probably now be tricked by them because, genies. The law of attraction, it kind of works the same way. It can prove itself to you if you stick around long enough to find out. You don't have to believe, like I said before, the this universal law does not care if you believe in it. It's gonna work anyway. It just does what it does, which is to attract like energy to energy that is like itself, right? It doesn't care if you believe in it. It just happens anyway. So you don't have to believe to use it. And at first, you probably won't, at least not fully. You may doubt for a very long time, even after you start seeing things come into your life that appear to be coming from the law of attraction. You still will probably have doubts. Your ego will say things like, "You're nuts. This is a bunch of mumbo jumbo, hoopla, woo woo crap. Who do you think you're fooling? Nothing has worked before, so why would this crap?" And that's okay. You can hack the system by doing what we already talked about. Changing your thoughts and using your imagination to pretend that it's real. It works. Fake it till you make it, baby. So maybe faking it isn't quite as powerful as later on, when you really begin to expect and believe. But when you're just starting out, it works. And when you're starting out, it's extremely important to realize that this is a fact, because that way you're not adding on more negative thoughts or more thoughts of doubt or disbelief, because you're like, I can't believe this. Yeah, okay, so here's the thought I want to have, but I just can't make myself believe it. And if you're constantly thinking that, then you're counteracting the positive thought that you're putting out there. So that is why this is one of the most important things you need to know about when you're starting with the law of attraction, especially for those of us with depression, is that you don't have to believe it. You can fake it until you make it, and that works too. It works better than not doing it at all. So maybe faking it is not as powerful as later on when you actually do believe. But when starting out, it really works to help start raising your vibes, not just because you start bringing even just the smallest of more positive things in your life, but it's because it shows you that this magic is real and that this is possible. It may provide just enough proof for you to believe in the magic and to take it a next step further and start attracting even more positive things into your life. So today, right now, start by using your intention to make positive things flow into your life. And that begins by checking out this guided meditation that will help you get a head start on raising your vibes, changing your brain patterns, healing your depression, and using the law of attraction. Sending love and blessings to you all. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.